Alright, so go back
Why did
to
on
the
the
league race this
calendar?
time with FTRL for round number 5, I think, which is Monaco. This
Yeah,
is the Monaco Grand Prix, and lo and behold, it's a wet qualifying session. So
it doesn't say it's getting.
the race
What's
is
it on?
dry, but that doesn't make things any easier for
Dry.
qualifying. Now, I will say this off the bat. I
That would
think
be a
this is the
case of going out and
worst.
just seeing
I think this is
what it
this
says.
on this game, F1 2020. I think this is the worst
We've
Monaco's
just
ever
gone
been
how
in
many
the
laps
F1 games.
at this
It's
point.
just a really unpleasant experience to drive, and that
Although
comes from someone
there's
who
one for
loves racing at Monaco in the past. I I don't
Yeah,
find it
just
particularly enjoyable to drive this
mediums.
year. It's
Mediums
so
it is, I guess.
the stuff in Sector 2 is so
Well,
slippy.
depending
It's
where we're
you
at.
can't turn. Like even on a wheel, it's really not great, and the gap.
What do I do? What do I do? What do
I
I
don't
do?
know. Like the skill gap here seems to be
If I
really
stop at
large.
5.
Like you just, I don't know. I can't. I don't feel
Yeah, same.
the enjoyment driving this track and this game that I have on previous ones. So that's a real shame. But we'll try and make the best of it if we can. Pull on a bit of fuel, get a few runs in, and moving on. Then this is
Go with
in qualifying. I'm going to take on board for a lap, I believe, of this. Now, this is slippery as hell, and you just want to survive. I thought this lap was quite good, but you can see there's even more chance for improvement. Like I'm already 10th and a bit slower through Massenet. So I look on the wheel with no traction in the wet, regardless of what track you're on. It's a difficult experience for me at least. So combine all these things and the walls that are close by. Hit the curve. See, the curves can knock you. I've hit this curve on the inside here, and I didn't hit it there, but it actually knocked me back onto the track like I lost time. Like you saw it happen there to the hairpin a bit. It kind of just bounced me off. It was unreal. Like it's one of the reasons that this track is not very fun this game round. But heading down towards the Nouvelle chicane, it's been a decent lap. Like I feel like I put in a good lap here by my own standards. In the conditions, it's a tough old slog, this one. Purple sector 2 apparently. You're right. Okay, fair enough. So anyways, through then the Lascas and then through Antinos, it was a really clean lap. Made up a good bit of time here at the end here, but apart from the start and the end bit right here, it was a pretty clean lap. So gonna move us into P6 for the time being. That would become, I think,
Yeah, me and Steve got
P8
pretty close as
by the
well.
time qualifying was all said and done. So not too shabby, all things considered.
Steve,
In a decent little spot. We'll have choice of tyres. It'll all play out. So here we go then.
mediums.
Mediums it is. I'm gonna go mediums. I actually plan to do mediums to hards. I hadn't like. Yeah, because
Last time.
the mediums, I've taken mediums 38 laps around here before, and they're not great. So they do fall off without 5 laps to
Okay,
6 laps
fair
to
enough.
go. So anyways, we're just going to play by ear and see how it goes. 5 red lights, and away we go. I should mention I'm using my new wheel for the first time. Went far too low on the revs, did not use my overtake. I got swamped. Not just on the line, but up the hill as well. I should have used overtake, man. It didn't even cross my mind at the time. I was just concentrating so hard on not trying to hit any cars in front. There's some damage there, though.
Same.
I think Lennon gets out. So it's P10. So we've lost 2 positions immediately. So not great. Most people are on mediums. So we'll see how that works out later. But nice and slow into turn 1. I think I may have got a punt from behind, actually. I'm not too sure. But I just looking at that now. I didn't realise it beforehand. I don't think I felt one, but it looked like I felt there for a sec. Anyways, yeah, there's your standard lap 1 stuff. Not the best one for me. So we should kick it on to lap number 3. See where the gaps kind of everything. The thing with Monaco is that you just run your race and everything kind of sorts itself out. So we're kind of just about 3 seconds behind Lynx and Liam in front, and Wesker's just behind in DRS, who's got a penalty already. But really, I find around this track, just run your race and kind of everything, like just survive. Everything else kind of falls into place. Everyone was actually surprisingly pretty clean in a sense, because there's no major
Yeah,
accidents, and the first real pit stop came from
People
Kevin there from on the softs there on lap 8. So kind of everyone's been decently well behaved and keeping out walls, which was surprising at this phase of the race. No safety cars or anything of the sort. Lap 14, this is when the guys who have pitted from softs onto mediums have come to the back here now. So this is where we're at, starting with Dutch. I held this line up the middle here. Racing line, a very cheap. Like he made it fair play to him, but I did not. I was not. I was not. It's not intending to let him go, and I could have easily. I could have easily come back into that gap. Like I was on the racing line basically. So he's lucky he didn't get his wings spliced or into a wall. It was ballsy to say the least. Yeah, to say the least. Anyways, through the tunnel. I actually kept it in lean here, and Kevin's going to get by here. But yeah, I kind of was like, it's like, geez, man, you like flipping. Like, in my head, I was like, that you're lucky I'm not, I'm not a dirty driver or anything like that. Because honestly, I could think of a handful of drivers where that incident, that what happened there ends up in a crash somewhere along the way. But you do what you have to do to survive here, you know. So we let Tico go here into turn one. You got to do what you have to do to survive. As best as you can. Now, obviously, Dutch, trusted, I suppose, that he could send the car up the inside there and it wouldn't turn in. But, if he crashed into me, there was nothing I could have done about that. It would have been his fault, really. But you do what you got to do to survive, and that's what I'm trying to do here. So, kind of pick and choose your battles. I don't want to wave everyone by at the same time. So I'm trying to run my race, and every 10th is critical. And you're going to see that later on, how critical every 10th and every second is. Lap 21. I actually made the decision at this point to extend the stint. So we're going to try and do softs. So everyone else, most people pit onto hards. So here's Adam then coming up the hill on mediums. Again, same kind of situation. Again, there's just about a car's width there, and I decided to back off and let it go. But if I wanted to fight that, I could have, and I'm sure a lot of people would have, to be fair. So again, it's that inside line is people sneaking up in there. It's the racing line is pretty clear. It's if there had been an accident there, the blame would have been in one place only. Lap 24 into lap 25. Ox goes down the inside again. Not going to fight that too much. Basically, what it all comes down to, you see Lynx there is 27 seconds behind. Basically, that's where we're at. We've got a nice little gap to form into. Basically, you see Tom there 7.7 seconds behind. So we got a nice little gap to form into that. The gap's just a kind of emerges basically as people have accidents and this kind of thing. So lap 27, this is my in lap. I used a bit more ERS this lap because I wanted to try and use it before I was at 80 or 90% heading into the pits before this lap basically. So I tried to deactivate it heading into that chicane. It didn't work the first time, so I ended up taking too much speed into the chicane, which got me my first warning, first and only warning I might add of this race. Anyways, you see that Tom was 3.6 seconds behind, so bear that in mind for later on. But yeah, tires kind of fell away the last 2 laps or so, but we extended lap 27. I was going to go lap 25, but I'm glad I went 27 at least. Anyways, out we come. We're going to Lynx gained some time there with the tires, my tires down, but we just emerged in front of him. That was important. So in 8th place, and Tom is 14 seconds up the road. So now then, it's just getting these laps done on these softs. Moving on then to lap number 35. So Ox was pitted. He had an accident, I believe, and he pitted in behind. So he's on softs. He's kind of coming at me now. So you see the gap to Tom, we've closed down to 3.4 seconds. I think Adam had an accident at some point as well. I think he spun coming out. I think he hit a barrier coming out of the Nouvelle chicane. So I think he's limping some damage as well. And these guys all have penalties. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it kind of all unfolds. But first, Ox is going to try and get himself by. I want to try and prevent that if possible, but at this stage, I did become stuck, so I obviously made a lot of time on Tom. But the tires kind of really fell away, once we got to around 4 seconds left, and this fighting is exactly not what I need, because I'm basically within in Tom's range of penalties. I had to let Ox go, though. I was a little annoyed in this moment, because I was like, man, that could end up costing me, because I need every single bit of time I can get to Tom. I think Adam's got some pens in front as well, so it's very, very close. I need everything, and I felt like that fight was really costly at that time. But we're on lap 38. We're going to kind of keep it on board for this anyways. The gap, see, Ox is caught off to the back of the other guys very, very quickly. The alternate strat here worked out quite well in the end. There was no safety cars in this race, not a VSC, I don't think, not a single thing, so very surprising. But you can see the gaggle of them up there, so I know I'm close, but these tires have also had it at the same time. I'm not sure what you would do to prevent that, to be honest, because I wouldn't have pit any later on the mediums, and I don't want to pit on lap 28. That's too far. So I don't know. Anyways, Ox and Tom going at it. Ox gets by Tom at least. So again, this fighting is in front of exactly what I need. So it's Adam, Ox, Tom, and then myself on the back of this. So again, we've made up a lot of time, but these tires aren't great, and we're limited on resources as well. But look at that. Through this section, I absolutely died. Completely died. The tires just didn't want to stop. Again, I've just got no grip. You see, I'm already just trying to fight the power, man. Just fighting on the power, and it's so tight. It's so tight. Tico's gonna won the race, but through the chicane again, this traction zone I really struggle with. This section here, getting on the power. You can see that I'm actually going to get myself out of 3 seconds. So I'm just trying to push everything left. I was willing to spend the warning in this corner. I tried to, and I actually didn't even get a warning. But I think Oxox tried to go around the outside of Adam into Anthony Noakes, which is insanity, really. And they all kind of bunch up together once again and coming across the line. It's a sprint race to the finish, essentially, as fast as you can. Boom. P5. An absolutely fantastic result. The maximum that was going to happen today without a safety car. Absolutely brilliant stuff. I was really happy with that. The race kind of was going nowhere for a lot. Well, not nowhere, but it happened. And then it kind of all kind of amalgamated at the end with the penalties and people kind of coming together. It was absolutely perfect. It was exactly what I needed, those guys squabbling up front. So, yeah, throw Ox, the kind of cat amongst the pigeons, so to speak. And, you know, sometimes you do rely on people to disrupt things a little bit as well. So, very happy with that. I needed everything, every single tenth I could get, I needed, and I worked to my advantage. So, there you go then, P5, starting from P8. No penalties, again, coming through very nicely, even without a safety car this time, which is nice. So, yeah, very happy to get that one done under my belt. And to survive, because I didn't really originally plan to do mediums at softs, but the mediums ended up feeling better than I thought they would. So it kind of ended up just working out that way. And that's what we ended up doing. So, yeah, happy that the plan changed. Because I could probably tell you that if I had chosen to do mediums hards, I don't get that result. So, happy days indeed. Next up on the calendar, I believe, is Belgium. So that's should be a fun race. Always exciting action there. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and until next time.